안녕하세요 and hello. I'm your host, Cathlyn Choi. In today's special program featuring Korean cuisine, I'll be sharing with you the inspiring traditions, customs, and philosophies associated with foods from Korea. Hansik is a word we Koreans use to describe not only the flavors, colors, textures, and ingredients found in Korean foods, but the etiquettes and traditions associated with deeper philosophies behind them. Hansik also represents harmony in life for Koreans, providing not only nourishment to balance the body, but it also possesses an almost spiritual essence when used as an offering to honor our ancestors. Like the concept of yin and yang, the five elements theory is at the cornerstone of many Asian cultures. Colors and specific ingredients often represent the elements of nature that, if balanced correctly, it leads to a healthy mind and body. Hansik is considered slow food. Although it is not difficult to prepare, it does take time to create the right key or energy that will flow from your hands to the ingredients and into the body. The harmonization of yin and yang is reflected in the use of spoons and chopsticks during our meals. The round spoon represents the symbol of yang and the chopsticks yin. Whereas wooden chopsticks are used in other Asian countries, brass or silver chopsticks are used in Korea. In the early times, Koreans used to have their names engraved on the spoons and chopsticks, carrying them around in a special case, so that even when they were invited to someone else's house for a meal, they would use their own spoon and chopsticks. According to traditional Korean dining etiquette, rice and soup are eaten with a spoon, while side dishes are eaten with chopsticks. It is considered impolite to pick up your spoon or chopsticks before the eldest person at the table has done so. The proper use of the spoon and chopsticks is a graceful way to enjoy Korean food. I was recently inspired by Korea's First Lady, Kim Yoon-ok, who had written a wonderful book called Hansik Stories of Korean Food. It is part cookbook and part personal memoirs of a personal life in Korea. I believe her book illustrates the concept of Hansik beautifully, as well as features some of her favorite recipes that have a special place in her heart, from cherished childhood memories to sharing these foods with friends and family members during special occasions. Using her book as a source of inspiration, let's explore the philosophy found behind some of these special Korean dishes. The first recipe, kimchi, is the most important staple food of Koreans, served at every meal, and it represents the foundation of Hansik. Kimchi is a staple side dish of Koreans that has been consumed for thousands of years. It is probably the most well-known and recognized as one of the healthiest amongst Korean foods. Abundant in lactic enzymes, low in fat and calories, and rich in fiber and vitamins. The most basic ingredients of Korean food, such as kimchi, doenjang, and jeotgal, are all made through a long process of fermentation. Traditionally, kimchi is kept in large brownish black jars called ongi, often referred to as jars that breathe. There are many tiny holes that are invisible to the naked eye on the surface of the jars, which allow air to pass through. These permeable ongi jars are the reason why fermented foods have become such an important part of our lives. There are over 200 kinds of kimchi today, with Napa cabbage kimchi being the most popular. Koreans eat rice with a variety of pickled, spicy, sour, or salty side dishes. The word for boiled rice in Korean, 밥, is used not only to refer to cooked rice, but also meals in general. This reflects the fact that nearly all Korean meals include rice. In Korea, there is a saying, we feel closer to the ones who we share and eat from the same pot of rice. A bond that is considered even more intimate and precious than the bond that exists between our own relatives.
When winter came, my mother would soak 300 heads of Korean cabbage in salt water to make kimchi. As it was such a big task, neighbors would go around to each other's houses to help, and when all the work was done, they would share a nice meal together. This custom is known as pum-ashi. Koreans consider this a way of socializing and strengthening bonds amongst our neighbors.
The main ingredients are Napa cabbage, daikon radish scallions for the stuffing, salted shrimps, fish sauce, sugar, garlic and ginger for the seasoning. There are 3 parts to making kimchi: salting, slicing, and stuffing. First, you would need to soak the cabbages in salt water. The salting process takes about 6 hours. Prepare the stuffing by slicing up the daikon radish and green onions and mixing them with the seasoning. Add a little bit of the seasoned stuffing in between the leaves of the salted cabbage. When you're done, gather the leaves at the bottom so the stuffing doesn't fall out. Then wrap the leaves around and in front of the kimchi with the outer leaves. Store the kimchi in a jar or Tupperware and leave it out in room temperature for about 36 hours until it ferments, and then it is refrigerated. The next recipe is 돼지 bulgogi, a very tasty and popular sweet and spicy pork barbecue served with leafy greens. Bulgogi means barbecued meat. Koreans have always enjoyed 돼지 bulgogi, which is barbecued pork. The main difference between beef and pork bulgogi is that the marinade for pork bulgogi contains Korean chili paste, gochujang, which goes very well with pork. Fresh lettuce and other leafy greens called sam are usually served as an accompaniment with the barbecued pork.
At the Blue House, I have a small garden where I plant and grow a variety of organic vegetables. When my lovely grandchildren come to visit, we often enjoy picking leafy greens and eating them with 돼지 bulgogi.
To make 4 servings of 돼지 bulgogi, you need about 2 pounds of thinly sliced pork belly or pork shoulder. First, mix all the ingredients for the marinade in a bowl. 2 tablespoons of gochujang chili paste, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped scallion, 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, a tablespoon of rice wine, a tablespoon of minced garlic, a tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of ground sesame seeds mixed with salt, a tablespoon of sesame oil, half teaspoon of finely chopped ginger, some vegetable oil for cooking, and black pepper to taste. Then add 1 piece of pork at a time and coat it with the marinade. Drizzle some oil into a frying pan or skillet. and cook the meat until it becomes brown and slightly crispy on the outside. Cut them into bite-sized pieces and serve them on a plate with some leafy greens. Japchae is a delicious and nutritious dish made with vermicelli or glass noodles with a variety of stir-fried vegetables and beef. No wonder it's become one of the most popular foods served on special occasions.
At the Blue House, the very first item to be put on the menu was japchae. We regularly serve this dish when we have foreign guests at Cheongwade.
For this recipe, you need to prepare about 200 grams of tangmyeon, which are dried vermicelli or glass noodles. There are two kinds of seasonings you need to prepare. For the beef and mushroom seasoning, mix 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, half tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of finely chopped scallion, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of sesame oil, and 1 teaspoon of ground sesame seeds mixed with salt and black pepper. Cook the vermicelli noodles in hot boiling water until they soften. Drain the noodles in a strainer. Mix in a bowl 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, half tablespoon of sesame oil, a tablespoon of sugar, and pan-fry the noodles in a skillet with the seasoning. Next, slice the meat along its grain into thin strips. Remove the stems of the shiitake mushrooms and slice them in thin strips. Hydrate the dried wood ear mushrooms in water, cut off the thick stems, and then slice them into thin strips. Slice the onion and then the cucumber and carrot in about an inch length. Lightly saute the vegetables in some oil and a hint of salt, starting with the one that's the lightest in color. Add the sauteed vegetables to the bowl. Lightly saute the shiitake and wood ear mushrooms in a skillet with the seasoning. Heat some oil in a pan. Mix the beef strips and pan fry them. When the beef is cooked, remove from the pan and onto the bowl of noodles. Mix all the ingredients thoroughly. Samgyetang is a specialty dish that Koreans look forward to eating during the hot summer months in Korea to help offset the heat. Koreans believe that eating hot foods in the summer is the best way to stay healthy. Samgyetang is one of the best and healthier choice of foods for this season, as it harmoniously combines chicken with the healthy elements of Korean ginseng.
Each year, at the height of the hottest 3 days in summer, which we refer to as Pongnal, it has been a custom in Korea to eat samgyetang. So on Pongnal, I buy lots of chicken and provide all of our guards and staff at Cheongwade with a bowl of samgyetang.
To make samgyetang, you need a small young hen, a cup of cooked glutinous sweet rice we call chalbap, 2 cloves of peeled garlic and dried ginseng, a few pieces of jujubes we call daechu, some chopped green onions, salt and pepper. Cut off the tail end and thoroughly rinse and clean the inside of the chicken. Then pre-cook the rice in a steamer or rice cooker for 20 minutes. Make the soup stock by boiling the garlic, jujubes, and dried ginseng with water in a soup pot for about half hour. and then remove the ingredients. Stuff the chicken with steamed rice and fasten the opening with wooden sticks as needed. Place the chicken onto a soup pot. Add the soup stock and bring it to a boil in medium-high heat. Reduce the heat and let it simmer in low heat for about an hour. Once the chicken is thoroughly cooked, add some salt to taste. Place the chicken in a large bowl or in a tukbaegi, a traditional clay pot. Pour the chicken broth over it, and finally garnish with the scallions with additional salt and pepper to taste. Pindaedtteok is yet another popular and healthy snack food that is often shared and enjoyed amongst friends and family.
Pindaedtteok is a type of jeon or pancake that is made from nokdu, which is ground mung beans and pork. We say that pindaedtteok goes well with a drink on a rainy day because the sound of sizzling pancake on a skillet is like raindrops splashing on the ground.
To make 4 servings of pindaedtteok, first we need a cup of soaked peeled mung beans, half a pound of salted cabbage, a pound of mung bean sprouts, a pound of pork shoulder, a brown onion, 2 pieces of pyogo or shiitake mushrooms, 1 large green onion, and a teaspoon of salt. For the mung bean sprout seasoning, mix together in a bowl 1 teaspoon of finely chopped green onion, half a teaspoon of minced garlic, and half teaspoon of sesame oil and salt. For the pork seasoning, combine 1 tablespoon of finely chopped green onion with half a tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of cooking wine, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of ginger juice, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Here I have some mung beans that have been pre-soaked and rinsed. Using a blender or food processor, blend the mung beans with some water until you get a creamy mixture. Cut the salted cabbage in thin slices. Next, slice the onion into 1 centimeter length. Remove the stem of shiitake mushrooms and chop them up finely. In boiling water, add the mung bean sprouts for about half a minute to blanch them. Using a strainer, drain and then squeeze the mung bean sprouts of water. Finally chop up the cooked sprouts and mix together with the seasoning and leave them aside. Cut the pork in thin slices and chop them up finely. Mix well with the seasoning. Add all the ingredients into a large bowl with a little bit of salt and mix them thoroughly. Heat up a skillet and add some cooking oil. Using a ladle, scoop up some mung bean pancake mix and pour it gently onto the skillet to create a round pancake. Cook the pancakes in medium heat on both sides until they turn golden brown.
I have come to appreciate again and again the wisdom that is encapsulated in Korean food culture. It embodies a sense of completeness through its balancing of taste, aroma, color, nutritional value, and philosophical meaning. We Koreans are truly blessed to have such a precious cultural asset. Yet, because we eat it every day and see it in every street, we tend to overlook and underestimate its value. I believe that people will one day be able to enjoy a well-prepared Korean meal everywhere around the world. My final thought and wish is that this day will come soon.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Korea's First Lady Kim Yoon-ok for the opportunity to have shared her wonderful recipes. I hope today's program will inspire you to explore and create delicious Korean foods and share your own Hansik stories with your family and friends. I'm Cathlyn Choi. Thank you for watching. 감사합니다.